Alright, hello everyone, it's Happy, and today we're going to be looking through the Tier 10 updated tier list after update 10.3. I thought this would be important to make so that all of you know which tanks you should be getting and which tanks you shouldn't be getting. And we're going to be categorizing at least almost all Tier 10 tanks in either OP, above average, average, below average, or trash. And some of these tanks are, of course, going to have my opinion regarding towards them. So if it's your favorite tank, don't be too sad. Now, first, let's start off with the Sheridan right away. I'm definitely putting this tank into the average category. I mean, it's a good light tank, good alpha. You know, it's got that anti-HE armor around it. So that's obviously very cool. And in my opinion, it's not bad. It's not great. I mean, it's right in between. I think it's a pretty solid average tank. Let's put the rocket version right next to it as well. Now, the M60 and M48, again, both very decent, I'd say average tanks as well, simply because they do have pretty meh mobility, but they make up for it with a good turret armor, you know, pretty decent gun, good DPM, especially after 10.3. Both of these tanks sort of got a little bit of a change, and in my opinion, these tanks do a lot better than they used to. Before, I'd put them in below average. Right now, I would categorize them as average. T57 Heavy, after the overall nerf, I would say it is a average tank. The armor was nerfed, the turret armor got a little bit stronger, but the DPM was weakened, the penetration was weakened, and so right now it's really an average tank in my opinion. I wouldn't really categorize it above average, but definitely not below average either. The first above average tank in the list right now, definitely a very good tank. Pretty good armor, great gun depression. On top of that, you have a solid turret, solid armor in general. The only lackluster thing is probably the fact that you have pretty bad weapon handling on the two-shot gun. But then again, 1.7 seconds, 900 damage in your face. Who else can do it apart from the Yo? Definitely a good tank. The E5 before the update would definitely be below average or average, but right now I would definitely say it's above average. It's average in all of its parameters, right? In DPM, you know, the gun, mobility, armor, which makes it above average, if you know what I mean. As in, a lot of tanks on the average spectrum would definitely have, you know, pretty okay bits here and there, but some other parts are going to be trash. While the E5 is good everywhere, making it above average, in my opinion. Definitely deserves that spot. It's an amazing tank, and I would definitely recommend everyone to have this heavy tank after this update. Now, next up, we have the E3. Definitely an average tank for me. It's got pretty good armor, not pretty good, it's got very good armor. The gun handling is pretty mediocre, to be fair, good alpha, and very slow when it comes to the mobility. So it's going to be limited at times. I would categorize it in the average or above average, in between, but as of right now, I would definitely say it's an average TD. E4, definitely below average. After the update, it was nerfed. So first, Wargaming buffed this tank, and then a few updates later, they decided to nerf it. Makes no sense, but as of now, in my opinion, the E4 definitely deserves this spot because, you know, it just got nerfed a little bit, and to me, it's not the greatest tank. Again, this is simply my opinion. E50M, another above average tank. This is a medium/light killer. If this tank is coming into you and it rams in your face, you're losing like 400 HP, and then you won't be able to penetrate the tank anywhere except the lower plate if you're a medium or light, of course, unless you're using gold as well, and even then you'll struggle. I mean, E50M is an absolute butcher for mediums and lights. Leopard 1, above average for me. It's got a great gun and great mobility. Coupled together, it makes this tank very, very strong indeed. And the DPM is like off the charts for this tank right now. In my opinion, definitely an above average tank for sure. Again, for some players, this tank might be like here, especially if you're a newer player. But for me, it's definitely going to be in the above average section. Mouse, below average, in my opinion. If you have tanks like the T57 Heavy on average, this is definitely going to be below average. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate these tanks. I really like the mouse. I really like the gameplay on the mouse as well. It's just that it doesn't fit everyone. In my opinion, it's very sluggish, of course. It doesn't have armor, but it does have armor at the same time because the cheeks get penned so easily. So some games you can block like so much damage. In others, everyone is going to pen you and you won't block anything. So for that reason, I'm going to put it here. It's just not very consistent at times. E100, definitely an above average tank. Again, good mobility for the armor. Well, not good mobility, let's be honest. It's got pretty bad mobility. But for for how big it is, for how heavy it is, I think it's okay. Now, the gun is really nice after the update. 680 Alpha is just superb, great. And you have pretty decent armor as well. I mean, the whole tech tree and everything is great. Definitely an above average tank, which you must have. VK72, average tank. It was below average, I think, but now after the update, it moved up, I guess. But now it has a pretty decent gun rate, and on top of that, it's got very strong armor frontally. But the fact of the matter is this tank has the turret located at the back. Therefore, it's not the easiest tank to play for everyone, in my opinion. Therefore, I'm going to be putting it in the average section. Now, the Jagdpanzer E100, definitely below average. This tank is below average for me because it's just like hard to play competitively, like properly, you know. If you want to play for damage or to win, I guess the Jagdpanzer E100 is not that great. It's very sluggish. Again, it's got good armor, it's got a good gun, but the fact that it's sluggish, it doesn't have a turret, really makes it hard to play this tank. I mean, if someone just comes around you, even a heavy tank, you're absolutely going to die. So again, for pure fun, I'd put it over here, man, if it was just about fun. But we're talking about sort of, you know, playing for a win, playing for damage, whatever. And in that case, I would put it in the below average section. Grill 15 as well, below average. I mean, I really hate the fact that this tank has nothing now. It's got great mobility, but it's a TD, so I'm not playing the TD for mobility purposes. Armor, non-existent. Camouflage, non-existent. I mean, the gun is great, but the DPM is trash. So, sorry, not the DPM. The DPM is good, but the alpha is trash. Excuse me. The alpha is so bad. It's gotten nerfed over and over again regarding the alpha. And so now it just pews like 500 something. And it's just not that great. T100 LT, also a below average tank in my opinion. I mean, it's probably one of the worst lights right now. It was nerfed over and over again. When it first was introduced, definitely here, and then it was nerfed. It was somewhere between these two, and now it's definitely a below average. I mean, it's very similar mobility to other lights, no armor. DPM is bad, gun is pretty okay. I mean, it's just below average right now. T62A, above average for sure. Good turret, good gun depression, I guess. Well, not good gun depression, but for a Soviet tank, it's got okay gun depression. Very good hull armor now, good gun, decent mobility, definitely an above average tank. Object 140, an average tank. An average tank for sure. It's got that good mobility, you know what I mean? It's got that perfectly nice gun, has a really nice gun, especially on the move, but definitely doesn't have enough armor, in my opinion, just to make it as playable as I would like it to be. IS-4, below average. The armor nerf just finished this tank off. This tank is nowhere now. It's not a heavy, it's not a medium. I don't know what it's doing. It's got a pretty meh gun. It's got, you know, it's got an okay gun, but then again, you're playing a heavy tank. It has no armor. The mobility is also mediocre. I mean, there's nothing really going for the IS-4 right now. Definitely stay away from the IS-4 as of this update. Now, IS-7, definitely an average tank, a staple tank. You know, it's good at everything it does. Very, very good in general. I really like this tank. Overall, good tank. It's suitable for whenever, you know, all the time. You can play this tank over and over again, and it'll never disappoint you unless you get ammo racked straight in the face. Object 268, definitely an average tank. The armor was nerfed in 10.3. I mean, it's not that good when it comes to the armor profile. The camo is good. The gun is pretty decent, I guess. Mobility is okay. I mean, overall, just a solid tank, you know, solid tank. 263, definitely as well, average tank. I mean, it's pretty good in some areas, and in others, it really sucks. Like, the gun will not go down if someone's in front of you, for example. The armor is good, the DPM is good, the alpha is really bad. So again, at times, this tank can be great, really, really good. But in others, it's really going to suck, and I would not recommend this tank for everyone. Vickers Light, definitely, definitely an average tank in my opinion. I mean, there's not much going for it anymore as well. It was nerfed over and over again. I mean, it has good gun depression, pretty okay turret, because back in the day it had a good turret. Now it's like probably bad, I guess. Everyone smashes through you. I mean, the gun is okay, DPM more than the T100 LT. I mean, I guess I'd put it in average, man. Probably leaning closer to below average, but just enough to hit the average spot. FV4202. Definitely below average. Very weird tank to play, and it's not for everyone. Not everyone in Blitz can run around heshing people. I mean, for some people, this tank could be OP or above average. For me, it's definitely below. I mean, it's just a weird tank in general. Not a big fan of it. Chieftain MK6. Definitely above average or average. I think I would still put it in average. It's got great gun depression. It's got a very nice gun. It's got nice hesh shells. Pretty okay armor at times, as I said. The mobility is pretty decent as well. I mean, it's a standard tank. I would really want to put it in above average. I think I'll do that. It's a chieftain. It's a chief, man. It can also farm credits for you. I mean, it's a good tank. It's a good tank. A very good tank. I like it. FV215B, on the other hand, definitely a below average tank. Definitely a below average tank, and that is specifically because the armor is non-existent on this tank and it's supposed to be a heavy. The mobility is also trash, and so you only get a tank with a very good gun. I mean, is that really a heavy tank? I don't think the gameplay is for everyone. The hash is nice, but then again, as I said, the armor is non-existent. It doesn't have great mobility, just a really nice gun. Which is unfortunate, because if you gave it like a little bit better mobility, maybe, I mean, and the turret is also at the back, I don't know, man. If you gave this tank pretty good frontal armor, I think it would be much better. FV4005. I don't know. I think I'd put it in the average or above average category, just out of respect for the tank as well. The tank is very nice, I guess, to play. It's got a nice drum. But it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. I don't think everyone can do well in the FV4005, and it can be a hard tank to play for some people, especially because it has 4 shots in the drum, low alpha relative to a TD, not that much HP, definitely a hard tank to play, and it's definitely not for everyone. So I'm definitely going to have to say it's average for now. FV215B 183, definitely below average. Same reason I gave for the Jagdpanzer. I mean, if you want to have fun, this tank is great. It's great. You can have so much fun in this tank, but to win games or to sort of, you know, do damage, this tank is just a no-no. You're going to miss half of your shots. If it's a 50-50, if you're gonna, you know, pen the hash, whatever, etc., etc. So definitely a below average tank. STB, I'm going to say it's average. I know this is going to upset people, but the DPM is not there and the mobility is not there relative to other medium tanks. The only thing saving this tank is the gun depression and, of course, the turret armor. There's sirens outside. Anyway, let's let that pass. And the Hori, woo, this is a strong tank, definitely above average after this update. Very good armor. The armor was buffed on this thing. The gun smashes through any armor in the game. The DPM might not be the greatest, but in order to play for damage, this tank is great. The armor is good now, the mobility is good, and definitely the gun is just superb. You can just smash through anyone you want. WZ-132-1, I mean, what can I say about this tank? Just an average tank. Just a really average tank. WZ-121, I would put it in average or above average. I'd say average. I mean, the armor is pretty okay, I guess, especially on the turret. Not great gun depression. The aim time is superb, though. The gun with the alpha is very nice. I like it. But in general, it's nothing really special apart from the alpha and the aim time, you know. Same thing with the WZ-113, in my opinion. I mean, no one talks about this tank whatsoever anymore. I don't know where it's going. Pretty okay mobility, actually, pretty decent mobility. The gun, after 10.3, it did receive a few changes here and there. And overall, it's not the same 113 we used to have. Definitely, I would say it's average as of right now. WZ-113 GFT, also average tank. Like, the armor was not nerfed, sorry, it was buffed. Before, it would definitely be below average, right? Right now, I would say it's in the average category. I mean, the gun is okay, the mobility is okay, but the armor is really like, mwah, it's great right now. Definitely worth getting. All the tanks in the average or above average section are definitely worth getting, guys. Well, not worth getting, but you could get them. These tanks you could also get, but you will not have the best experience with them as of this update. Batchat, woo, great tank as of right now. Above average for sure. Drum is great, mobility is good. You know, it's a solid tank. The drum is now really good. The 350 Alpha is just mwah. It's really good. Slaps very, very hard. Oh, and I don't know why I looked this up. But anyway, guys, don't forget to check out Huawei because they're giving coupons up to 30% off and up to 5% back in Huawei points. So check it out, guys. You guys can get some really nice stuff. And of course, don't forget to use a VPN if you do, because otherwise you might not be able to access it on the Euro site. So anyway, now, getting back to the tier list, guys, the AMX 50B definitely an above average tank as of right now. Because before I would place it in the average category, but right now with the great drum it has, I mean the armor is gone, the drum is great though. The 4 shots will allow you to actually do some decent damage because the weapon handling has been improved by a lot. So I would definitely say it's an above average tank for me. Foch 155, average tank. I mean, it's got good mobility, pretty decent gun, bad weapon handling, decent armor. For some people, it's above average. For me, it's average. I feel like it's a little bit outdated, but it's leaning close to the above average section, to be fair. But as of right now, I would definitely say it's an average tank. TVP, still a strong tank. The interclip is 1.9. Before, it would be in the OP section, for sure. Right now, it's above average because 1.9 interclip, is still very, very good. You can do colossal amounts of damage still, and overall, it's a pretty good tank. Progetto 65, I think average tank. I mean, it's still the good old Progetto. Average tank, definitely worth getting if you do want an Italian medium tank. Good auto reloader as well. 60 TP, above average tank. Good mobility, good armor, great gun, combination of everything. Mwah, superb tank. Definitely worth getting. If you're into heavies, guys, 60 TP would be one of my first, E100 first, and then 60 TP would definitely be second. Great tank. Great. VZ55, just a basic tank. Really basic. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Good armor, okay mobility, okay gun, you know. Kron as well, I would say it's average. The biggest lackluster thing on the Kron is definitely going to be the DPM. I mean, the DPM is just not there anymore. Well, not anymore. It was never there. But the turret is still strong. I mean, it's not a bad tank, guys. Just because a tank is in the average section doesn't mean it's bad. It's just an okay tank, you know. The Minotauro, I would place it, in my opinion, I would place it in above average. I know not everyone's going to agree with me, but for me, the armor profile on this thing is just superb. It's really nice, and I like the gun. To me, the Minotauro is a very fun tank. I really enjoy this tank, and I would recommend it to other people as well. I would definitely put it in the above average section. Super Conqueror, another very average tank in my opinion. Good armor, a pretty decent gun and decent mobility. I mean, it's not a bad tank, so I would definitely put it in the above average. Ooh, VK90. Oops, there we go. One of the only OP tanks I would say exist in tier 10 is definitely the VK90. The armor is it's just unbelievably strong. If you side scrape, you're not penning this tank unless you're a TD with gold. Come on, even the turret is hard to pen. The frontal plate is strong. The lower plate is strong. Mediums and lights, good luck even trying to pen this tank frontally, man. You have no chance. Any 1v1 clinch, the VK90 is going to absolutely slaughter you. AMX M4 MLE, good mobility, good gun, and decent gun. What did I say? Good armor, good mobility, and decent gun. Definitely above average, guys. The M4 is a good tank. AMX 30B sort of got buffed this update. Definitely say it's an average medium. The cupola still ruins this tank a little bit, but apart from that, it's a solid tank. Concept 1B, I would definitely say above average, maybe. The turret is great. The mobility is good. The armor is good. I mean, the gun is also great. Definitely an above average tank. And overall, good good hull down tank. Now, 1115A, get the hell out of here. You're completely trash. I mean, the tank is just hideous, and the armor is removed, the gun is not there, the mobility is not there. I mean, it's a heavy tank, for God's sake, without any armor frontally. It's just really bad. It got nerfed low-key in the update of 10.3. Not a big fan of it. Badger, below average, very similar to other tanks in this tier. Got good armor. It's got a pew-pew gun as a TD, which sucks. You don't have the HP to pew-pew people. And very bad mobility. Definitely below average. T22 medium. An above average tank for sure. It's got pretty decent gun for a Soviet medium tank, right? It's got good armor, turret armor, sides are troll. You all know what it is. You all know why it deserves to be here. Not much explanation needed. 121B, guys. Chinese medium tank, very standard. I mean, it's got good mobility, good gun, good armor. It's just well all-rounded, but not enough to say it's above average. Object 268 version 4. In my opinion, it's above average. Similar to the Minotauro, really like this tank. Some people hate it absolutely, but I love the fact that this tank has very good armor frontally and a big juicy alpha gun. It's great in 1 versus 1 scenarios or close range situations. E6, I would say average. Some people would place it above, but to me, players can't necessarily play this tank as well simply because it doesn't have proper armor. I mean, it's a heavy tank without armor. The gun is good, sure, the mobility is good, but the armor is not there. Definitely an average tank. And lastly, the 260 is definitely going to be above average. The armor was buffed, the gun is great, the mobility is great. Very solid tank. If you do have a chance to get it, definitely get it. And as of now, we have one OP tank, a lot of tanks in above average, a few tanks in below average, and the majority of tanks are going to be in the average section. And of course, we have the WZ1115A, which is trash. So definitely never get this tank. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's tier list. And with that, happy is out. Tell me in the comment section below what you guys think about this, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.